Michelle Obama was recently interviewed by CBS, and she drew attention to a number of really interesting topics, including the notion that she's a so-called angry black woman. Now, that was a common criticism during Obama's administration, and she never really understood why she was called an angry black woman. I don't understand why she was called an angry black woman because I literally never saw her angry once. But nonetheless, she did respond to that criticism during the interview. Take a look at what she had to say.
When you were labeled that angry black woman, was that one of the things that knocked you back a bit?
Well, that was one of those things that you just sort of think, dang, you don't even know me.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you just sort of feel like, wow, where'd that come from?
Yeah.
You know? And that's the first blowback, because you think, wow, that is so not me. But then you sort of think, well, this isn't about me. This is about the person or the people who write it.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's just the truth.
That's
it's
what Maya always used to say to me.
Yeah, it's just so, it's so much about that. And then you start thinking, oh, wow, we're so afraid of each other. You know, color, wealth, these things that don't matter still play too much of a role in how we see one another. And it's sad because the thing that least defines us as people is the color of our skin. It's the size of our bank account. None of that matters. You know this.
Yes, of course.
You know, it's our values. It's, you know, it's how we live our lives.
I kind of wish that she didn't talk about wealth in that answer.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
It didn't make sense, and also, I feel like the size of your bank account, in some cases, does say something about who you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Look, I don't begrudge rich people, and Oprah, she just worked in entertainment, got rich. To the best of my knowledge, is not a person who's trying to get, you know, somehow capture the government and do corruption and all that stuff. Bless her heart, right? Bill Gates, you know, and some people get mad at the Microsoft, et cetera. But like, he's an entrepreneur. My point is, don't get mad at your local dentist for having, you know, a nice house. That's fine, but at the same time, like, one, it's weird. It doesn't fit in with the race question at all. And sometimes some wealthy people do make it matter.
So like the Walton family that own Walmart, you know.
Do you know that 6 members of the Walton family have as much money as the bottom 50% of Americans? And it's easier, and they're both now rich, Michelle Obama and Oprah. So I really wish they hadn't brought that up because, like, as they're sitting in a gorgeous, whatever that is, like, is that in the White House? I don't know, but wherever it is, it's gorgeous, and they're both incredibly rich, telling a lot of us who are not that rich, like, oh, wealth doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you because you already have it.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to race. But you know where it comes from. It's an old racial stereotype about how black people are angry. And it's, again, it comes all the way back to the days of slavery. So it's like, it's not to dredge up slavery. Again, it's just to tell you where that stereotype comes from, right? And part of the reason that people did that in the South was, one, if you were a slave and you weren't angry, that's kind of weird, don't you think? If I was a slave, I'd be super pissed. And after the Civil War and I'm finally free, you have all the right in the world to be angry, but they weren't. You know, and I'm not saying that they weren't angry overall and everybody was angels and yada yada. I'm just saying that it was a made-up stereotype and it was mainly projection. After the grotesque violence done on African Americans in this country, they then turned around and called them violent and angry, and it was done to suppress them.
Now, I completely understand that angry is used in a very negative, disparaging way in the context of race. And what I'm about to say is a little different, but I think that this point still matters. I think it's interesting that the word angry has a negative connotation to it, right? And it's especially negative if it's associated with women. And so you don't hear angry black man as often as you hear angry black woman because it has a little more of a negative impact if it's in regard to a woman. And so look, the point that I want to make is anger is not something that someone should be ashamed of or someone should try to hide or someone should try to, you know, somehow downplay. Anger is a real human emotion that oftentimes comes from a place where you feel like something unfair happened or there's some sort of injustice, and it's what makes us human. right?
So, Anna, you bring up a great point. So, look, on the issue of gender, it's a little mixed. Certainly, they hit Obama with angry black men as well. That's a stereotype that's existed for a long time as well. Do they use it more against women? I don't know. It's a fair question, and I see why you say that might be the case. But I think the great point is that part of the reason that they do the stereotype is that so they don't want that reaction. Hey,
Yes.
you better not be an angry black man. You better not be an angry black woman, right? Because, hey, just leave the powerful alone. Whatever the current status quo is, it wants to protect itself. And it has trouble protecting itself if everybody's angry.
Yes.
So what it tells you is, everybody calm down, be cool. Be cool, everything's fine. What are you all so angry about?
I think in a lot of cases, anger shows that you're aware, right? And you're right. Those who are in power, those who are able to manipulate the system and do it without any type of real backlash, hate the anger because they see it as a sign of possible resistance, right? And so I'm not saying go around and be violent. I'm not saying go around and harm people. I don't say that by any means. But every once in a while on this show, if there's a topic that angers me and I'm very open about my anger, you know, the criticism will start flowing in. And I got to be honest with you, that's criticism that I immediately brush to the side because I would never apologize for my anger, especially if I'm talking about something where I feel like the injustice is clear.
Yeah, so look, we're not arguing that anger is the most attractive emotion, and you should be logical and contain your emotions, but at the same time, oftentimes it is very logical to be angry. And if you see injustice and you're not angry about it, to me, that's super weird. So it depends on the situation and the context. So when they tell you that you should never be angry, part of what they're telling you is you should never fight back.
That's right.
And that is what we don't agree with here. Podcast the whole 2-hour Young Turks every single day, commercial-free, All-Star Tuesdays, aggressive progressives, old school, post games, TYT classics. You get it all with membership. Do it now, tytnetwork.com/join.